Okay, this is it. I'd like to congratulate you for making it this far in the Vwap Wave System course. This is where we put it all together. And you've probably learned a lot to this point. And my hope for you is that you'll be able to put this into practice over time and build your consistency through effort and putting the time in. Okay, this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is a get rich slow scheme, and you'll be rewarded by putting in the time and effort. And this is where we put it all together for our daily trading routine, which is also very important for our discipline. So let's dive in. Your system is built. All right, you have an entire comprehensive professional trading system. Now you need a process. Consistency doesn't come from more setups. It comes from showing up the same way every single day, ready to go. This module is going to give you a repeatable daily flow so you don't hesitate, you don't chase, you're not forcing trades in your session. Let's get started with the morning routine and market prep. All right, it's good to have a pre-market prep checklist. You're going to want to check the economic calendar. All right, this is also in the Discord. What do we have going on today? Is there CPI, FOMC, jobless claims, oil inventories? All right, we like to look over the overnight sessions. Were we trending? Did we hold balance? Was there any news that happened overnight? Did it affect us? Where are we in relative to yesterday's session? You're going to want to mark these level prior days, value area high, value area low, our point of control. Where was the Globex high, low, pre-market support and resistance levels, any untested low volume nodes or composite profile edges, all the stuff we've gone over. We want to be cognizant and aware of as we enter our trading day. Instrument filtering, I help do this with you guys every single morning during the live stream. All right, I'm looking at all of the markets that I trade. Now, you don't need to trade every market every single day. I go where the opportunities are, what's moving and what's setting up nicely. But on the same wavelength as that, for that matter, you don't have to trade the same market every single day either. There's no reason to trade ES that's doing absolutely nothing when gold is having an epic day. Why would I sit on the sideline and do nothing while there's clearly another market that has great opportunities? All right, so I'm watching oil, natural gas, gold, silver, copper, soybeans, corn, Bitcoin, the S&P, the Russell, the Dow, the NQ. All right, I'm watching all of them. I'm looking for clean structure. Have we been respecting VWAP bands or profile edges? Is there a rotational behavior going on? Are we kind of rotating in balance currently? Is there any directional intent for continuation plays? And if the chart just looks messy, it's doing nothing, there's a tight range on the value, it's kind of chopping around VWAP, I'm going to skip it. I'm not interested. We want to define our likely context. Ask myself, what type of day is likely to unfold? Are we inside prior day's range and value areas? We're probably going to continue seeing likely balance. Are we breaking overnight high and lows? Okay, well, there might be some discovery continuation likely. Has there been a choppy Globex and really no data? All right, we could probably have an early tight range. This filters my setup selection before price even opens and before I even take my first trade. Let's talk about real-time execution flow. All right, so when I'm actually trading, what am I doing? All right, so we have our opening watch from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. I'm waiting for the initial balance to develop. I'm letting the market kind of tip its hand and show me what we're doing. And most of the clean moves come after the opening volatility. All right, that first 15 to even 30 minutes can be very tough to trade. I will sometimes take those trades, but with very, very small size. But they're generally not clean. They're very volatile and very hard to manage risk. That's what we mean by clean trades. Clean trade, I can easily manage my risk. I have a real-time decision tree taking place while I'm trading. Step 1, are we inside or outside of value? Step 2, is price accepting or rejecting this structure? All right, as we approach the bands, are we rejecting and staying in or accepting value? Or are we breaking out of value? Step 3, which setup fits this environment, right? Are we in price discovery? I'm looking for price discovery continuation trades or VWAP bounces. Are we inside value? I'm looking to fade the value or extremes or a VWAP point of control scalp. Are we in failed breakout price discovery? Right? I'm looking to return to value or fade an IB extension. Here's my trade execution rules, right? And to mention, guys, I talk through this entire process while on the live stream, right? So you can constantly think what I'm thinking and how to interpret the data that's coming in from the auction tools to be able to see what setups I'm looking for, right? I do this all out loud for you guys so you can see the approach. Let's talk about trade execution rules. Only trade after my context and setup align, right? I have value. We're in value. We're accepting in value. I'm looking for a fade value or extreme setup, and they all align. I try to limit my trades to 3-4 a day, especially in the beginning, unless exceptional structure. And then eventually, if you want to keep trading, you could switch to a sim account so you can keep practicing. Say you're looking to get better at hyper scalping or scalping in areas and enhancing your order execution. You don't have to do that on a live account, guys. You can practice that in a simulator. You want to use your preset risk, your defined targets, and mechanical stops like clockwork. Let's talk about our journaling and afternoon review. So after our session is done, we're done trading. We're going to start tracking. All right, what instrument did I trade and what was the setup name? Where was my entry? Where was my exit? Take a screenshot, mark up the chart. What was my setup quality? How much confluence did I have here? Was this just a VWAP band and nothing else? That might be a B or C. Did I have the upper VWAP band and IB high and a low volume node all in the same spot for the first contextual shift? A plus. All right, and give myself a grade on execution. Did I follow all my rules or did I break some of my rules? Did I let my stop to go too wide? Did I not get out where I was supposed to? Did I let it did I turn a winning trade into a losing trade by not taking profits? Right? I need to evaluate all of this. Wins are great, but rules followed is the metric that matters. We'll do an end of the day debrief. Did I stay within my risk? Did I force anything? What trade did I skip that I should have taken? All right, and that's why I go through the recaps. Check out the market recaps in the Discord. I'll generally break down a market every day where all the setups took place. Why did you skip or miss a trade? Did you take ones that weren't there? Where did the structure develop that gave me an edge? That's a good one. And lastly, staying in sync. When not to trade. Structure isn't always there, guys. Especially as of late. I don't know when you'll be watching this, but I'm recording this in early April 2025, and the tariffs news with Trump has created some very unpredictable markets. We've had news drop that causes hundreds of point swings in the S&P and the NASDAQ. Oil. It's been crazy. Right? When that happens, I'm generally staying aside. If you're watching on the stream, unfortunately, at least it's entertaining to see that type of that historic price action unfold. But for the most part, I'm not trading it, guys. I'm just watching. There's no structure there for me to trade. However, when the market is inside IB or inside value, chopping through VWAP, I'm also sitting that out. And I just mentioned this, the abnormal volatility due to world events or significant economic news, I'm sitting out. Discipline is an offensive weapon, not just defense. Okay. How do I stay sharp? Right? We post our charts in Discord. Ask for feedback. I'm always around, guys. You need feedback. Want me to look at a chart? I'll be happy to. Study 1 to 2 setups per week, especially in the beginning. Don't try to chase all 8 right away. And try to focus on repeatable conditions. Your goal isn't to catch every move the market makes, just the one that makes sense. Focus on the setups. All right. If I'm looking for price continuation longs, there are clear guidelines and setups that I should be waiting for to trade that repeatable condition. Here's some final words. This is a professional system. The Vwap wave system is designed for real world trading. Low subjectivity, clear structure, repeatable edge across multiple markets. If you can follow this system, you're going to avoid most of the chop. You'll stop forcing trades. And the best part is you'll know why you're in a trade and what to do if it fails, like a professional trader. What should you do next? Make sure you download your setup cheat sheets, put them up around your station, get your journaling templates together and keep them handy so you can do your journaling, your live journaling, and post-market debriefing. And then take all of that information and participate in our Discord. Put your live examples in there, feedback, evolution, follow the stream, participate in the stream, make call outs. Why isn't this a trade? Why was that a trade? Why did you take this trade? Join the live streams, guys. If you can't, watch them later. Join the group coaching sessions. Join the Q&As. Participate. I do this for you guys. I generally go until not a single person has another question. I'm happy to help. But if you don't reach out, if you don't ask questions, I can't help you. So you need to take that initiative. Utilize the group we have, and there's a lot of other great traders in here as well. Record your screens, review your trading sessions, post your trades, build your edge. I want to thank you for committing to the process. All right, you are doing what 95% of most people are not willing to do. So whether you're full-time, part-time, or just simply growing toward consistency, this system will meet you wherever you are. However, you need to respect structure. You need to learn and trade the specific setups. You need to manage your risk, and you need to stay sharp. All right, this is a career that can provide returns beyond most people's wildest dreams, but not just the money, the freedom that it can offer you. Thank you again, and let's ride that VWAP wave.